And that's what we're talking about here every morning, frankly, the agenda. Will we see the agenda get executed? He's done a lot in terms of rolling back regulations, which has been incredibly successful and has caused businesses to loosen their purse strings. That's where the recession has been. But will he be able to have a victory when it comes to tax reform and health care? These are the two big issues that there's a lot of pushback from the Dems, from the media. What do you think?
Listen, I think there are a couple of Republicans that need to get in line and need to understand that the American people spoke out very loudly on November 8th when they put Donald Trump in office, and they want to see these things happen. I do think he'll get it done. I say it all the time, but I've never seen anyone outwork my father-in-law. He will work to the bitter end for the American people. He understands how important health care, how important taxes are to the people in this country, and I do think that we'll see it happen. You know, health care, we'll see what they do going forward, but I do think a great plan will come forward for the American people, and you know, he's already keeping promises he made during the campaign trail, and he'll continue to do that.
Yeah, he came in with a big, broad agenda. He's talking about a 15% corporate tax rate. He's talking about 3% and 4% economic growth. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says that the president has unrealistic expectations. Listen to this. Got to get your reaction.
Part of the reason I think that the storyline is that we haven't done much is because, in part, the president and others have set these early timelines about things need to be done by a certain point. Our new president had, of course, not been in this line of work before, and I think had excessive expectations about how quickly things happen in the democratic process.
You know, it's interesting, Lara, to hear Republicans basically push back and say expectations are unrealistic. I've been asking this question the last couple of weeks. Do you think that the Republican Party really wants Donald Trump to succeed? You wonder. You just said a moment ago, you know, some Republicans need to get in line, but they won't.
Yeah, I think that the vast majority of Republicans are on board with the president's agenda. I do think that there are always holdouts. There are people who don't want to see the president succeed, who for whatever reason, will go against him no matter what. But I don't think any of these expectations are unrealistic. I think Donald Trump spoke to the American people during the campaign, and that's why he's in office, because they're sick and tired of this kind of stuff happening in Washington, D.C. People saying, we can't do it. Well, why can't you do it? This makes sense. People want to see this happen. Make it happen. They can do it if they want to do it.
Yeah, well, we'll see about the disagreements over tax reform. They've got to get tax reform done. I don't know what happens with this health care bill in the Senate, but the Democratic lawmakers are now forming a group called the New Democracy. They say that they're going to focus on winning in Republican-dominated Middle America. Of course, where your father-in-law was incredibly successful, members include the following: Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper, former Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. The group plans to organize action committees to endorse and raise money for candidates. The focus on your father-in-law, the president's 2020 campaign. It sounds a lot like these Democratic lawmakers' new agenda. Sounds a lot like President Trump's agenda.
Well, what I'll say is the Democrats might want to check in with their own party before they think they're going to raise a lot of money. I will tell you that the Republican National Committee and the campaign combined has raised over $70 million this year. And I think if you look at the other side, if you look at the DNC, you'll see that they are almost broke. They have a lot of big problems. They might want to focus on that before they think they're going to raise a lot of money in Republican territory.
So that was an incredible, staggering amount of money that the RNC was able to raise. Has there been a change in terms of the broad party, that now they're all in? I mean, I know that there are certain lawmakers that are stubborn and they're not going with President Trump. But, I mean, what do you attribute this incredible amount of money raised?
I just think it speaks to the fact that the American people are so happy that they have a voice in Washington, D.C. now. They want to see the president there for 8 years. They're thrilled with what he's done so far, and they really want him to know that they have his back, and they want to see him go forward, and they want to see his campaign succeed.
Tell us about 2020. What will be the president's message?
Well, I think that the president's message will start now, and it will go for the next 3 years. I mean, what you will see is that my father-in-law will continue to keep his promises to the American people. He wants a wall on our southern border. He is building up our military every day. You've seen jobs coming back to this country, factories coming back to this country. You were just talking about Foxconn.
Yes.
I think the American people are going to see that Donald Trump follows through on what he says he's going to do, and I think they're going to, without without a doubt, put him back in there for 4 more years.
Who do you think he's going to be facing off in the Democratic Party? Do they have anybody on the bench?
That.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing. You know, they really seem to be floundering with any true leader there, with any true message. If you know, please let me know. I'd love to start preparing, but I think it's a little early maybe to say that right now.
Let me ask you before you go. You mentioned General Kelly, and a lot of people are saying, well, he's really going to put new discipline in this White House. Have you been told that if you want a meeting with your father-in-law, you've got to go through General Kelly?
I have not been told that, but I would respect the process and go to him without a doubt.
Okay, because that was the question. Will his children, Eric and Ivanka and Don and yourself and the others in the family also be going through this new discipline?
Why not? Yeah, I'd be more than happy to ask him for a meeting with my father-in-law.
Lara, when are you due?
About 5 weeks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We are sending you our best wishes here.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
You too.
Thanks so much for joining us. Lara Trump joining us there.